There's a house design from Queensland, Australia, 150 years old, that solved a problem the modern HVAC industry charges you $12,000 to solve mechanically. And the solution isn't insulation. It's not smart glass. It's not a radiant barrier. It's not a heat pump with a SEER rating of 24. It's a gap. A deliberate, engineered, architecturally considered gap between the bottom of the house and the ground beneath it. Not a crawl space, not an accident, not a structural compromise. A gap that was put there on purpose. And that does something to the temperature, the humidity, and the livability of every room above it, that no mechanical system in 2026 can fully replicate. And when you apply that 150-year-old logic to a steel frame Barndominium, you get one of the most thermally intelligent alternative residential configurations available right now. Here's the whole story. If you want the ancient design intelligence applied to modern construction, subscribe to Barndominium Haven right now. Hit the bell. Stay till the cost section, because the Queenslander Barndominium's elevated foundation premium pays itself back in a timeline that's going to surprise you. Let's get into it. The Queenslander is a residential building type that emerged in Queensland, Australia in the 1840s and dominated Queensland domestic architecture for the next 100 years. It's a timber-framed house, typically single-story, elevated on timber stumps anywhere from 2 to 6 feet above the ground, with wide wraparound verandas on all or most sides, a steeply pitched roof with generous overhangs, and louvered windows and ventilation openings throughout the building envelope, designed to move air continuously through the structure. From the street, it looks like a house sitting on stilts, which is essentially what it is. And every single element of that description, the elevation, the veranda, the steep pitch, the louvers, is a direct response to one specific environmental problem: the Queensland climate. Subtropical heat, high humidity, intense summer rainfall, cyclones, flooding. The Queenslander didn't try to fight that climate with thick walls and mechanical systems. It worked with the climate, using passive design, and the most important passive design decision was the gap beneath the house. Here's the physics behind the elevated floor, and why it's more sophisticated than it looks. The ground in a subtropical climate is not your friend thermally. It's warm, warmer than you want, and it's wet, wetter than you want, and it radiates heat upward continuously on a hot day. A house sitting directly on a concrete slab in Queensland is sitting on a surface that's absorbing heat all day and radiating it up through your floor all evening. You can insulate the slab. You can put a vapor barrier down. You can add radiant flooring systems. But you're fighting the ground with materials, and the ground is going to win eventually. The Queenslander didn't fight the ground. It left a gap between itself and the ground. That gap, 2 to 6 feet of airspace between the floor of the house and the earth below, does 3 specific things. Thing 1, thermal separation. The ground's heat can't conduct directly into the floor because there's no contact. The air gap provides a thermal buffer between the warm ground and the living space above. Thing 2, airflow beneath the floor. The elevated foundation allows prevailing wind to pass beneath the building, cooling the underside of the floor structure, and carrying away the heat and moisture that the ground radiates. The gap is ventilated. It moves air. That moving air is doing cooling work continuously, without a fan, without a motor, without an electricity bill. Thing 3, flood and pest protection. A house elevated 2 to 6 feet above the ground is not flooded by anything less than a serious event. Termites that can't reach the timber framing without crossing open air and visible barrier systems are termites that don't destroy the house. 3 problems. 1 gap. That's why it was there. Here's what I find most interesting about the Queenslander's elevated floor, and what most people who study it don't fully appreciate. The gap doesn't just affect the floor temperature. It affects the entire thermal behavior of the building above it. Here's why. In a slab-on-grade building, the slab is a thermal mass element connected to the ground. In summer, the slab absorbs heat during the day and releases it into the interior during the evening, which is exactly the opposite of what you want. You want the interior to cool down in the evening, but the slab is releasing its daytime heat right into the space you're trying to cool. In an elevated building, there's no slab in contact with the ground. The floor structure is a lightweight timber or steel deck, which has minimal thermal mass, which means it doesn't absorb daytime heat, which means it doesn't release heat into the interior in the evening. The interior cools faster when the sun goes down, because the floor isn't acting as a thermal battery charged by the day's heat. In a hot climate, that one behavioral difference, evening cooling response, can mean the difference between a building that's comfortable without air conditioning and one that isn't. Here's where the 150-year-old design meets 2026 steel frame construction. The Queenslander Barndominium takes the Queenslander's 3 core principles: elevated floor, wraparound veranda, steep pitch ventilated roof, and applies them to a steel frame barndominium. The structure, instead of a concrete slab poured on grade, a steel frame building elevated on concrete piers or steel columns, typically 2 to 4 feet above grade in mild flood risk zones, 4 to 6 feet in higher flood risk areas. The floor structure, a steel deck spanning between the perimeter grade beams and intermediate support columns, thermally separated from the ground by the elevated gap. The wraparound veranda, a covered porch running on 2 or 3 sides of the steel building, 8 to 12 feet deep, providing shade for the wall surfaces behind it, which dramatically reduces the solar heat gain through the wall panels during peak afternoon hours. The roof, a steep pitch gable or hip roof, with generous overhangs, and a continuous ridge vent at the apex, allowing hot air that accumulates at the peak to exit the building without mechanical assistance. 3 elements: elevated gap, wraparound veranda, ventilated steep roof, each one doing specific passive work. Together, a building that manages its own thermal environment using air movement and shade geometry, the same way the Queenslander has done it since 1870. Let me walk through the specific floor plan that makes the Queenslander Barndominium work as a residence. Building footprint: 32 feet wide, 48 feet deep, 1,536 square feet of conditioned floor area. Elevated on columns at 3 feet above grade. Veranda, 8 feet deep, running the full length of the east and west sides plus the north face, totaling approximately 704 square feet of covered veranda. That veranda coverage is not decorative. The east veranda shades the east wall from morning sun. The west veranda shades the west wall from afternoon sun, the most damaging solar heat gain direction in a hot climate. The north veranda provides the outdoor living space and shades the entry. Interior program: open kitchen and living at the north end, facing the entry veranda, where the breeze from the north enters most consistently. 2 bedrooms and bathrooms at the south end, the quieter end, with the prevailing breeze having traveled the full depth of the building by the time it reaches the sleeping spaces. Ceiling height: 12 feet at the ridge in the social zone, steep roof pitch, pulling hot air upward and out through the continuous ridge vent. Floor-to-ceiling louvered or operable windows on all 4 sides, allowing cross-ventilation in every direction depending on the prevailing wind. This is a building designed to breathe. My favorite feature: the space beneath, not the living space, the gap. Here's why. Most alternative buildings treat the underside of the elevated floor as wasted space. a crawl space nobody goes into, a mechanical chase with ductwork, a storage area for things you're trying to forget. The Queenslander Barndominium, when designed intentionally, uses the elevated gap as the building's most useful utility space. The gap is ventilated. It's protected from rain by the floor above. It's protected from sun by the building's shadow. And in a barndominium context, it's large enough, 3 to 4 feet of clear height, for all the mechanical systems that would otherwise consume interior square footage. HVAC equipment, water heater, electrical distribution, plumbing runs, all of it tucked beneath the floor, accessible for maintenance by a person who can crouch, protected from weather by the building above, not consuming a single square foot of conditioned living space. And here's the detail I love most. In a hot climate, the HVAC equipment that sits in a ventilated shaded space beneath the floor is operating in a significantly cooler environment than rooftop or attic mechanical equipment, which means it runs more efficiently, lasts longer, and costs less to operate. The gap is doing 3 things simultaneously: thermally separating the floor, cooling the underside, housing the mechanical systems, all for the cost of the elevated columns. That's my favorite thing about this design. The most useful space in the building is the one with no floor. The mistake: closing the gap. Here's exactly how it happens. The building goes up. The columns are poured. The floor structure is framed. The building looks great from above. And then someone, usually the owner, sometimes the contractor, looks at that open space beneath the floor and says, "We should close that in." It looks unfinished, and they install skirt boards or lattice panels or some other decorative closure around the perimeter of the elevated floor, sealing the gap from public view. And I understand the instinct. The open gap does look unusual if you're not familiar with the Queenslander tradition. But closing it even partially, even with open lattice, reduces the airflow beneath the floor by 30 to 60%, depending on how thoroughly the closure is done. And that airflow reduction undermines every thermal benefit the elevated floor was creating. The cooling of the floor's underside, the moisture management, the mechanical equipment efficiency, all of it degrades when the gap is closed. The gap is supposed to look open. The original Queenslander builders understood this and left it open without apology. The 2026 version should do the same. If the openness bothers you, plant screening vegetation at the perimeter, which provides visual closure from the street while maintaining full airflow beneath the floor. Plants, not boards. Real numbers. 2026 mid-cost markets. Queenslander Barndominium, 32 by 48 foot building footprint, 1,536 square feet conditioned, elevated 3 feet above grade on concrete piers, wraparound veranda on 3 sides, 704 square feet covered, steep gable roof at 812 pitch, continuous ridge vent, concrete piers and grade beam, elevated foundation system versus slab-on-grade, $18,000 to $28,000. Premium over standard slab, approximately $8,000 to $14,000. That's the elevated foundation premium. It's real. It's worth it. Steel floor deck spanning between piers, thermally separated from ground, $12,000 to $18,000. Steel kit and erection, 1,536 square foot barndominium with steep pitch gable roof, $32,000 to $48,000. Wraparound veranda framing, 3 sides, 8 feet deep, steel posts and roof structure, $18,000. To ridge vent system, continuous mechanical ridge vent running full length of building, $2,500 to $4,500. Louvered or operable windows, floor to ceiling on primary faces, $14,000 to $22,000. Closed cell spray foam, walls and roof deck, $16,000. Plumbing, located beneath floor in ventilated gap, $9,500 to $14,000. Electrical, $7,500 to $11,000. HVAC, mini split, equipment housed beneath floor, $5,500. Septic, $9,000 to $13,500. Interior finishes, $18,000 to $28,000. Contingency, 15%, $26,000. Contingency, 15%, $26,000. Total realistic build cost, $196,500 to $298,500 fully finished. Mid-cost U.S. market, 2026. The Queenslander premium over a standard slab-on-grade Barndominium of equivalent size, approximately $25,000, driven by the elevated foundation, the wraparound veranda, and the louvered window system. The payback in hot, humid climates, reduced cooling costs of approximately $800 to $1,800 per year compared to a slab-on-grade building of equivalent size, means the premium pays back in 15 to 30 years, and the building keeps performing for every year after that. Here's the honest case for the Queenslander Barndominium. The gap beneath the house is not an accident. It's not an oversight. It's not a failure to pour a proper slab. It's the most intelligent single design decision in 150 years of tropical residential architecture. A deliberate rejection of the idea that a building should sit as close to the ground as possible, in favor of the idea that air is the best thermal buffer available, and that air is free if you design to let it work. The Barndominium adapted this idea into steel frame construction, elevated floors, ventilated undersides, wraparound verandas shading the walls, steep ventilated roofs exhausting the heat, and produces a building that manages its own climate with physics, not with the $12,000 HVAC system everyone assumes is the only answer. The Queenslander was right 150 years ago. It's still right now. Subscribe to Barndominium Haven. Tell me in the comments, what climate are you building in? And would you elevate your floor for the thermal benefits? I want to know. And I'll see you in the next one.